Hi guys, it's been 2 years already since we started making our indie game Wisplight. I figured it's about time to share some insights into the thought process behind the combat design pillars we're using. In this devlog, we'll dive into the types of enemies in Wisplight, their AI behavior in combat, the design pillars shaping our combat system, and a few tidbits on how I design boss battles. Let's begin! For those of you who are new here, I'm June and I'm working on Wisplight, a game where you play as a wisp that can transform into different monsters to fend off human invaders exploiting resources on your island home. Think of it as Dark Souls, but this time you're the monster. In Wisplight, the humans are the primary enemies and they're categorized into groups. This brings us to our first design pillar, designing enemies as a group. In designing enemies in Wisplight, we don't just focus on them individually, we design them as part of a group. Each group is rooted in their lore, and we always begin by asking, what is their purpose? What are their motivations? Why are they on the island? Every member of the group plays a specific role that ties into their overarching narrative. Here are a couple of examples of these enemy groups. First, we have the mercenaries. Their goal is to harvest the life essence produced by the island's trees, a resource they use to fuel their magic. Hired by an acolyte, the mercenary group consists of three key roles: the acolyte, who focuses on harvesting, the torchbearers, who scout for threats, and the guards, who defend the group from any incoming dangers. Another example is the tree hunters. They inhabit forest outposts, and their primary mission is to hunt and capture tree creatures, one of the many monsters you can transform into. We plan to introduce more enemy groups in the future, each with its own distinct theme, lore, and purpose. Designing enemies by tier. In Wisplight, each enemy group is designed with multiple tier levels, and each tier comes with its own unique behaviors and challenges. For example, in the mercenary group, the low-tier enemies include the guards, torchbearers, and acolytes. These are the standard enemies you'll encounter frequently, and their roles align with the group's purpose. The next level introduces mercenary champions, a higher-tier enemy that acts as mini-bosses. These enemies have more health, better weapons, and a distinct AI behavior. They're scattered across the mercenaries' territory, each equipped with mid-tier weapons that you can claim upon defeating them. Finally, we have the highest tier, the settlement boss. These are the most formidable enemies in the group, offering a truly challenging combat experience. Each tier within a group is carefully balanced to offer its own set of risks and rewards, encouraging players to approach combat strategically. This tiered structure creates variety in enemy encounters and set the stage for our next design pillar, designing risk and rewards. In Wisplight, every enemy presents a unique risk when engaging with them. To make these encounters meaningful, it's essential to reward the player in ways that feel proportional to the challenge. For example, low-tier enemies are relatively easy to dispatch and drop low-tier weapons or consumables that help the player sustain their journey. These enemies serve as a stepping stone, offering smaller rewards that keep players prepared for tougher encounters. Mid-tier enemies, or mini-bosses, pose a greater challenge. To make these battles worthwhile, they drop mid-tier weapons that provide a tangible advantage in subsequent fights. Additionally, these mini-bosses often guard strategic territories within a level. Defeating them can grant access to areas crucial for progression. For instance, in one settlement expansion quest, defeating a mini-boss unlocks a location where you can build a smelter and stockpile, key facilities for expanding your territory and resources as the game progresses. High-tier enemies or settlement bosses represents greater challenge, with high health pools, multiple phases, and complex mechanics. These battles are tough, however, the rewards match the risk. Powerful high-tiered weapons and control over entire settlements. Take Eldrick, the captain of the mercenaries, as an example. Defeating him not only grants you his high-tier weapon, the Claymore, but also liberates the territory he controls. This opens the door for characters like Cassandra and her minions to move in, establishing the area as your own. From there, you can upgrade the settlement to produce weapons and items that will be invaluable as you continue your journey to capture and convert human territories. This balance of risk and reward forms one of the core long-term gameplay loops of Wisplight. Designing combat encounters. When designing combat encounters in Wisplight, I approach them in two distinct ways depending on the enemy tier. Low-tier encounters. Encounters with low-tier enemies, such as the mercenary group, are designed to be fast-paced and dynamic. These enemies work together as a team, coordinating attacks and circling the player to simulate how humans might engage a monster in combat. To balance this level of aggression, low-tier enemies are relatively easy to defeat. They have lower health and wield weaker low-tier weapons. These encounters emphasize quick decision-making and crowd control over drawn-out battles. Mid and high-tier encounters. In contrast, encounters with mid-tier mini-bosses and high-tier bosses focus on one-on-one duels. These fights are more deliberate, with higher risk and longer durations. Mid and high-tier enemies are equipped with powerful, high-damage weapons, making careful strategy essential. To create engaging boss fights, I incorporate several key aspects into their combat design. First is the wind-up. Every attack is telegraphed through clear animations, giving players a chance to anticipate the move. This ensures that success feels earned, rewarding players who observe and adapt. Next is the attack. This is when the attack animation deals damage. Clear feedback such as sound effects, visual cues, and hit reactions is crucial here, letting players know whether the attack hit or missed. Recovery. After an attack or combo, the enemy enters a recovery phase. This is the player's window of opportunity to counterattack and deal damage. Identifying and exploiting these recovery periods is a key strategy for defeating bosses. Observer phase. During this phase, the enemy AI temporarily pauses to observe the player. This gives the player time to heal, equip different weapons, or use consumables. The observer phase occurs based on specific triggers, such as enemies running low on stamina, recovering from being staggered, or assessing the player's actions. Each enemy's AI behaves uniquely, encouraging players to study their attack patterns and behavior for an edge in battle. In these encounters, success comes not from just reacting quickly, but from studying the enemy's attack patterns over time and learning when to strike, dodge, or defend. By combining these elements, combat encounters in Wisplight are designed to be both challenging and rewarding, with a strong emphasis on player skill and strategic thinking. Let's break down a mini-boss encounter. Let's take a closer look at one of our mini-bosses to see these design principles in action. Meet the Halberd Mercenary Champion, a mini-boss you'll face at the entrance of the Keep of Ashendale Fortress. His attack patterns are a perfect example of how we design challenging but fair encounters. He typically begins with a highly telegraphed swing of his halberd. This gives player an opportunity to dodge towards the attack, avoiding damage while positioning themselves for a counter. After the swing, there's a brief recovery period, allowing you to land a few hits. However, be prepared. He quickly transitions into a 2-hit combo. This sequence offers another opening. If you attack him here, he will stagger, creating an additional chance to deal damage. This recovery phase gives the player a window to counterattack, rewarding precise timing and positioning where every moment counts. Occasionally, staggering him will trigger an observer phase, where he pauses to reassess the situation. This gives you a vital moment to heal or reposition, but don't get too comfortable. He might change his attack pattern, keeping you on your toes. Currently, our combat demo features 2 mini-bosses and 1 settlement boss. If If you'd like to test your skills and give us feedback, join us on Discord. We're actively playtesting with our community, and I love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
Oh man, look that dude. No. Jesus, I'm so dead.
If you're excited about Wisplight, don't forget to wishlist it on Steam and subscribe for more updates on our development.
Ow, man, my head. What happened? Oh, you're gonna troll that thing again. No. Oh, this guy's not only fast, but he's strong.
A big thank you to our amazing patrons for supporting the game's development. If you'd like to join them and help bring Wisplight to life, check out our Patreon linked below. I'm excited to meet you all on Discord and play the game together. See you there. Till next time.